Alright, here we have an original Xbox 360. It's one of the versions that does have the HDMI out on it, but it does require the beefier power supply. And I've taken the front panel off here because the issue that this one has is not with being able to power on. As you can see, I can power it on with the controller here, and we got it showing up on the TV, which is good. No red rings or anything. See, it links right up. But the problem with this one is that we don't have tray power. So it's opening, closing, and we don't hear anything coming from this. Now if I press the button, we don't get anything either. And I've tried using the paperclip as well. So there's nothing. You can see the wheel in here spins when we open it, but I think what we're dealing with is we've got a bad motor for the tray. So we're going to take this one apart, and you can see it's still saying opening. And if I hit this, then it's closing, opening, closing. So it never actually responds or reacts. So we're going to take this one apart. I've already got the front panel off, and we're going to try to crack open the DVD drive, see if we can replace the tray motor, and put it back together. And if that doesn't work, we'll be looking for a new drive. Let's get her cracked open. Okay, so the first thing I did was I did take the front panel off, which I did by inserting my finger into the USB door slot and pulling it off pretty much. I did end up breaking the hinge a little bit, which is super common. But the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to see if I can do one-handed here, is we're going to take the hard drive out, press down the button here, slide it out, and we're going to lift up on these tabs. I'm going to see if I can put it into my mount here. We'll see if we can do it hands-free. Okay, we're going to give this a shot. So this is the top panel, and you really just have to kind of pry it up like that. Feels like you're going to break it. And then this one, I'm kind of wiggling it back and forth. There's one side, and well, get the other side. There we go. Feels like this is gonna break. I really hate this. Come on. And of course the last one is the worst. See if I can't even see in there to get it out. Wiggling it back and forth. It's not really coming out. There we go. Yeah. Come on now. Oh, I was gonna say maybe I can get to it from the inside the case here. Let me see. I want to say, there we go. There's a little spot right here. I was able to poke the inside of that. Might be able to do that on all of these. If you poke through with a little teeny, you can see that's a little teeny star driver. I was able to push it through. I'm going to try that on the other side too. Man, that's my least favorite part about all this, is it always, every time feels like I'm going to break the dang thing off. Alright, so there's the nice, clean, yucky top. We're going to wash all of this off too. So now we're going to get the next one. I'm going to see if I can use that little screwdriver again. As I can see, here's one, and here's one. Oh man, so much better. There's one side. 2. There's 3. Or 4, 5. There we go. Alright. Whew, yucky. So definitely keep one of these handy. I actually have a tool kit that I got for disassembling the Xbox 360s, and I think I now understand. the one reason I bought this was, well, you'll see why here soon, but it's these prongs right here. They're very particularly spaced, but this I think is what I'm supposed to be using to kind of pop those out, but that's okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to cut the warranty sticker here. So I'm going to use my little knife. We're going to cut right there. Don't think Microsoft's going to be, oh, there we go. So that was almost a mistake there, but cut up and over along this crack here and down. I can see that open. So I don't think Microsoft's going to be honoring their warranty anytime soon. But we're going to put these clips up like so, and then this one over here as well. Okay, now we've got the front part of the case off. Lift it here, 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 and here. Now the fun part is in the back. So I'm going to try to do this in a way that y'all can see it. But here we have our special security tabs. These little teeny slots are where you have to push in all at the same time. And that's why something like this comes in handy. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to do the one over by the power supply. And see if we can pop it open, just like that. When I did this the first time, I actually made a makeshift one out of a credit card. And the thing ended up, like, it worked, but it bent all to heck. This thing like a couple bucks on AliExpress. As you can see, that was near painless. So next thing we're going to do, I think, is take the bottom shell off, put it over the bottom, and we're going to work this off. Now we've got our bottom shell, and holy moly, that's gross. Definitely going to be putting this thing through the dishwasher. Maybe not the dishwasher. I don't know why I always say that. We're going to put it through the soapy water, but ooh, got some yuckiness here too. Yep. So next thing we're going to do, we've got a screw here, screw here. Can you see that one? Yep. Here, 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 and here. And we're going to take our star driver, which I'm using I believe this is what is this? T8. And we're going to take them off, and these are going to be some of the longest screws you'll have seen. Those are big long ones. And these are what hold the top of the shell. Tell you what, I may have to take this thing outside and use some, I don't have canned air, but I have a little forced air, like the opposite of a vacuum, and that thing, it's got some power behind it. Like, blow out all this dust, because the alternative is I gotta take all the guts out, like the motherboard and everything, and wash the shell here. I don't really want to do that. So now she should come free. Oops, you know what, I think I skipped a step here. Let me flip her over this way, because one thing we do have to do is we've got to remove the eject button here, which we should be able to do by pressing down in this little clip here. We're going to get a little flathead and lift up as we bend that clip in, then we can kind of pry it up from there. There we go, she's free. Then we should now be able to lift this off. Ta-da! There's the other side, not as bad. Okay, now here's what we're working with. Let me, you know what, I didn't have my light on the whole time. That's a little better. So here's our drive, and we're going to need to get access to it here through some way. This may just lift, yep, lift right up and out. Maybe. Ah, there we go. So here is a piece of tape that we've got to cut right across that way. Then we should get access to our drive. There we go. Now she should lift right out. There we go. And we'll disconnect the data cable, or the power cable, and probably control cable. And there's the data cable, which looks like it's just SATA, one of the modern standards for like your or for your hard drives or SSDs in your computer. There we go. And there's the motherboard, which doesn't look terrible. Not really any corrosion or anything. No blown caps, which I guess explains why this thing's still working. Can we see what's under here? Does this come off? Take the shroud. Not easily. Like I might have to get into our fans there, but set the drive to the side. So we get two hands here. Like that. This is, there we go. Had a little clip there that was holding it in place. Okay. Yep, we're gonna wash the shroud too, along with all the pieces that we can put in a nice soapy bath. All right, there's our motherboard. Okay, well, let's get back to the drive here and we'll take a look at, see if we can get to the inside of it. All right, we're going to start from the bottom. We've got some Phillips screws here. See if we can lower that back down. Well, that's interesting. My warranty void sticker looks like it's already been popped, but the Xbox itself had not. So I think that's quite... okay, well, this is a new one. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay. I mean, that can't be helping things, but I don't think that's causing our issue. But what is interesting is all of this, I don't know if that's flux or if that's just like thermal protection. We can see here's some thermal pads that were installed on the chips, but this one's only, where is that one? Ah, okay, so that's on this one here. So what I find interesting is that well, the dime was in there. I mean, that's a weird thing. Like, I don't know what they were trying to do to put that in there. If they were trying that on purpose or what. But I'm wondering if that might be the controller board, because this has been opened up in the past. Like, I feel like the motor sniff test doesn't tell me that anything is wrong with it right now. I'm going to take this top shell off. And what the heck? Okay, seriously, what kind of stuff did they try in here? Arby's Ocean. Oh man, that brings back memories here. Encyclopedia Britannica. Kids meal for Arby's. The electric eel. Pretty sure I have that pog. This is not a pog, but okay. Well, there's that. And trying to see. Okay, so there. Yeah, because this is moving. I don't like how that hasn't moved up either, though. I think usually those are supposed to be tied together. There we go. No, that was probably because I had hit the mechanism to open it up, and that seemed to do the trick. Interesting. Oh, what do we got here? That just came off. Okay. Love when things just fall off. Put this back on to protect the laser a little bit. Where did you fall off of? Look like gear teeth too, which is probably not great. Let me use my little pusher tool here. See if we can open her back up. I guess I probably don't even need it at this point. What is that supposed to push down on? Where's the release? Odd. Usually there's some type of release that lets the drive come down, but I'm not seeing it. No. Very strange. And I think I'm gonna try to take this off if I can. Okay. Oh, that didn't help either. Weird. Where is the release? Over here? Nope. This is a Phillips light on, which I believe is that's the common one that they all are. But man, I feel like I'm missing something here. Or there's supposed to be something else. Ah, okay. That was it. I don't know how this is supposed to do that, though. Other than doing, like, sliding it to the side. It's very odd. I still can't. There we go. Now, where did that part fall off of? Very clean break. And it's also possible this didn't come from this. Plastic almost looks different. Very weird. Okay. Well, what I'm going to try is, I'm just going to try hooking this back up as is and see if for some reason it magically works. Sometimes that happens if you work it through a few times, and maybe it was the fact that there was a dime on there. I mean, that could have been causing bridges or shorts. I don't know. That's super weird. But I'm going to try plugging it back in and see if it does anything different. Well, I don't know if it was the dime or what it was, but she's working. Now the question is, will it actually read any games if I put her back together? So we're gonna turn off the console, and I'm gonna put the disk drive back together, and we'll pop in some games and see how she works. Alright, first test we're gonna do is we're gonna try an Xbox game. See if we got the backwards compatible functionality here. See if this reads. We got Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory. It's one of my first games that I played on my original Xbox 360. Reading. Yeah, let's play. Need to attach hard drive. Okay. Alright, well, let's do that. Alright, we're back and we've got hard drive in, attached. And I'm just booting her back up with the disk in. I believe it'll boot right to the... Nope, I guess not. It's been a while since I've booted to an Xbox 360, but boom! Alright, we've got Xbox functionality. Well, that's awesome. Let's see if she plays a little bit. Yeah, Ubisoft. I love unskippable cutscenes. So great. Yep. Okay. Now we're gonna go back home. And yeah, we're gonna go home. Actually, I guess we'll finish loading. See if it actually loads up. Alright. Okay, we don't need to watch the entire cutscene here. We're gonna go home. We're gonna eject the tray, and then we're gonna load up some Arkham Asylum. So, Xbox game. Check. Very cool. Xbox 360 game. Now, to be fair, this one doesn't work. I may actually have to check a different disc, because that one had some scuffs on it that I wasn't aware of when I got it out. Let's see how this works here. It says play game. Alright. Looking good. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I just... I'm glad I tested it after cracking it open, because I would not have guessed that what was in there was going to cause the issues. But hey, that's awesome. Yeah, go ahead. Let's continue. That all's working. Cool. Good to go. That's great. Okay. Well, we're gonna go home. We'll say yes. Awesome. So, I am now going to take this baby over to the sink, and I'm going to take the parts, wash them up, and I'm going to take this one out to the garage and see if I can blow some of this nasty gunk out. Once I do that, we'll come back and we'll put it all back together and see if she still plays. Before we take this to the dishwasher, I actually want to do one more thing. I want to remove this tray so that I can adequately clean between the plastic and the metal. And the only way that I've found to do that is I just got to break it. So there's these little plastic pieces here, which will go flying when you pry it up right there. And there's one right here, which will do the same thing. Try to do this without cutting myself. There we go. So now I can take this tray off, and you can see that's yucky on that side too, which is why I wanted to take this off, because I wouldn't be able to clean it the right way without doing that. there's all that nasty gunk too. The other thing I'm going to show you is we're going to remove this so that we can wash it and take the spring off. So this is the piece that I broke off, or I broke while I was taking it apart, because this is where the clip is. These things are very, very fragile, but that actually works out to our benefit, because just like I did with the other side of the case, hopefully this will work the same way. See if I can pry this up. Just want to break that little plastic piece right here. Done this once before and it worked out really well. Okay, good. There's that one side there. It's almost like they were made to be temporary, which is a weird choice. I would have put screws there if I was them, but I'm not them. So here's the spring. Put that over to the side. Metal bracket. What we're going to do is, after I wash this, we're going to super glue this back down on those posts. And hopefully it works out as well as the other one. One thing I'm noticing is this one is a little bit different than the other. The Elite that I have. I might have to push this down like that. Actually, that kind of clipped back into place. I'm still going to probably super glue it. I'm going to put some down on these little cross beams here. We'll zoom in so you can see it. Oh, I zoomed in a little bit too far, but hey, here we go. Hey, perfect. So this right here, these little cross beams, I'm going to put some glue down on either one, and then it should stay in place. But now, I can take this off. I can wash that too. And the one piece that I'm going to have to fix when we come back from washing it is I have a little peg that fell off right here that I'm going to have to glue back on first. And that is what the spring sits on. So that was the piece that broke when I took it apart. I got to find that piece. It should be in the box that I've been storing it in. But then the other things that I want to take off are these. I want to be able to wash thoroughly inside here. So I have to try to take these off without breaking them. I think if I push up, so I'm pushing against it up this way while I'm prying this up. Maybe? Yeah. These things were not made with repair in mind, that is for sure. So I'm trying to do, okay, did I get it without breaking it? I think I did. That was stressful. See, these little teeny hinges, that's what they have it on. This little teeny peg was all that was holding it in. And let's see if I can do this adequately on the other one. It was easier to use my fingers than to use the screwdriver, but these two little tabs right here and here was what was keeping it in place. So I'm kind of pushing down with my thumb while also pushing over from here, from this side. Maybe I'll try it on this side. On this side, so I'm taking my finger and pushing against it and getting some leverage, and then there we go. Okay. Did that snap? No, we're in good shape. All right. Whew. So now I can take this as the only pieces that I'm going to take apart. I'm not going to pop any of this off because it would be impossible to put it back on without adding screws. But now I can clean this off without an issue. Let's see if I can find that missing peg, and we'll get to cleaning. Okay, real quick, I just have to show you the peg that came off of this is right here, which, if we scoot it over a little bit, you can see it's super tiny. So I'm going to have to use some super glue wizardry, showing that for scale there, to try to put it back on. But done it successfully so far with one, although that was it was actually the whole hinge that broke off on my Elite. So I'm not holding out much hope for this guy. I might have to figure something else out, but I'm going to try it regardless. Alright, I've got the electric duster, which is what I'm going to be using to clean this thing out. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the power on the fans, because what can happen is you can actually get a reverse current from the fans spinning back into the circuit board, and you can fry it. If I can't disconnect it, I may just hold these while I'm spinning it. But yeah, we're gonna try it with the duster and see how she comes out after. Alright, first pass was pretty successful. You can see most of the dust is gone on the outsides, and over here we still got a little bit more here. And what I'm going to use is an attachment on this guy that lets me use a little brush. So we're going to try that and see how that works out over here by the fans. Alright, looking even better now. What I did do is I took out the fans. I pried this up a little bit as I pulled these forward. I'll show you how I put them back in a second. But those, now I can clean these up with either some alcohol, or I'll try to blow some air on these specifically. And then I can get this area down in here a little bit better. Now those turned out really nice. Still a little bit of dust in there, but I'm not even, I think I'm going to worry about, I'm going to get this part here. But then, other than that, I think we're in good shape. I was able to get it disconnected from the motherboard, and I'm going to get these little specs in here, and then call it a day. Okay, back inside, I've got my fans cleaned up as much as I'm going to care about them being cleaned up, and I'm going to put my cable back in. Sorry, there you go. Now you can maybe see that right there. And then I'm going to slide this in. There's two holes, one here, one here. That is where these pegs go into. So I'm going to make sure that I insert those into their homes, which they're in now. And then we're going to pry this metal back a bit, and it slips into place. So all I did to remove it was I lifted it up as I'm sliding them out, like so. There's just two little tabs that are holding it in through tension. I slide them back in, and they're good. You can see, you guys probably couldn't see that, so I'm going to do that again. So, here we go. So these two little tabs here, I'm going to pry this up, and pry this up, and then these slide out like so. So, there we go. Fan's back in place, nice and clean. And our drive, we're going to put that, we're going to plug that back in, and I'm going to test it out again just to make sure we didn't blow anything loose with the forced air, and make sure that nothing happened with the laser as well. That's the part I'm actually most worried about, but I'll see how it looks. I realized something as I was booting this up, that I did a big bad no-no. The game was still in the drive tray when I did what we did. So I'm actually going to make sure that there's no scratches on the disc. It ejects still, which is good. The disc looks fine. So we're going to close it, and we're going to play it and just make sure everything loads up okay. I recognize the game, so that's a good sign. But yeah, you should never ever move a game system or a disk drive with a game in it. That's just bad practice. But looks like we're booting up okay, so that's a good sign. Laser's working, and we're now going to try the Xbox game just to make sure that that works. I expect it will. We just want to make sure. Looking good. All right. Whew. Okay. Well, we've got the insides cleaned up. I'm just waiting for the soaking bath on the outside to finish up, and we'll wash that up and we'll get it back together. Alright, got all the cleaning done. Now it's on to the super gluing fun. So I'm going to use my little helping hand here. First thing I'm going to do is identify this is the side that the part broke off from. Now it's going to be very delicate work here. So I'm going to use my precision tools. I say that a little tongue-in-cheek because these things have definitely seen better days. But I think what I'm looking for is the side that broke off. So I want to try to put it on as close to the same as it broke off. So I want the rough side to go on to the rough side. Now it's not going to be perfect because I don't think, even if I was able to identify how exactly it lined up, I wouldn't be able to position it that way very easily. But what I'm going to try doing, let's see if we can position this a little easier for you to see, but I want to have this pretty much facing, you can't tell, but it's facing straight up, up and down, perpendicular to the ground. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dab of super glue on the hinge. Then I'm going to place the spring arm, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what to call it, on there. So we're going to take that, put a little dab right there. Perfect. Just a little dabble-do. Then we're going to take our spring arm here, and we're going to position it like so. And again, this is what I love about the Gorilla Glue gel, is that's all it took. With regular super glue, it would be falling over, and I'd have to sit there and hold it in position for a super long time. But I think that's going to be good. So we're going to let that cure, and we'll come back later and see if it will hold the spring. I'm going to give it a little wiggle test, you know, scientifically proven to work. I don't know. We'll see how solid it is when we come back. Alright, well, it's been about an hour, and feeling pretty good. Well, that's a little squishy still, so we're going to let it keep sitting overnight, since we're going to be putting some pressure on it. But while we're waiting, I figured I can try putting these memory covers back in, which, if I remember right, I have to check another slot, but I believe it goes B here and A here, and that's confirmed. So we're going to start with A, and I believe I should be able to get this back in, hopefully without breaking it. So I'll slide this side in first. There we go. Okay. Now we should be able to get the spring in there just as easily. Let's see. Nope. It's looking like I should have put the spring on first, but it's not too bad actually. Use our little pick. With that up and over. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, number 2. And then I'm going to try to do it the same. Yep, same thing there. And look at our spring. Just gonna make sure there's no difference between these. It doesn't look like it, so I'll slide it over the one side first. Oh, come on. Come on. You can do it. Right. Oops. Okay. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Those are in place. Nice and springy. And I think this unit ends up cleaning up pretty well. A few little scuff marks. I might go over it with an alcohol wipe after we get it all back together. But this thing really did clean up nicely. Wait till you see me put the rest of the cover together. Alright, well, I'm going to let that dry overnight, and we'll come back and take a look tomorrow. Okay, well, this has been going for quite a while now. This went overnight and a few hours into the day. So we'll see how well the super glue holds. If this doesn't work, I actually found another fix online that I guess is quite common, using a twist tie, where you can push the twist tie through the spring, and I guess it doubles as the pin. But I'm going to try this without, and all I'm going to do is lay this down like so, and we're going to use just some good old Scotch tape to hold it down. So I'm actually going to start from the other side, from the top, or the front, I suppose, and we're going to leave a little, bend that over, so we got somewhat of a lip to grab onto. And that's going to hold it in place from the front. Then we're going to do it across that way. So we still have room to place the bracket and the spring. Like so. And I'm actually going to place the spring. Oh, I should have put that on there before I did the tape, but you know what? I think it'll still be all right. And worst case, if I have to take it off, I can. Oh, come on. I hate springs. You know what, we're going to take the tape off, and we're just going to do this again. In theory, I might be able to, there we go. I can pry it up a little bit. Oh, come on. This might be time to switch my pliers to the new ones, after all. Oh my goodness. We are going to fast forward on this for sure. Okay, you know what? There we go. That's much better. Now the tape can hold it on that side, and the tape can hold it on this side. We'll keep the spring from popping this out. And then we're going to do one more piece of tape. Right across like that. And I'm leaving a little bit of excess so I can grab these pieces when we're done, the next step is we're going to put some super glue. I'm going to zoom in. You can see these little spots here, 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 and here. I'm going to put super glue down on the plastic. Then we're going to put the bracket down, and we are going to play the waiting game one more time. So we're going to get our super glue out here. Got the tape a little close on that one, but that's okay. Okay. And next, we're going to place this over top. I'm going to have to push it down. Maybe. There we go. Went down a little more difficult than I had planned, but let's change the angle here. We're making contact. I think so. All right. So we'll let that rest, and when we come back, we'll take off the tape and see how our spring action holds up. All right, well, moment of truth on the super glue for this hinge. We're going to peel back our tape. Some of that got underneath there, but luckily it's easy enough to peel back, like so. Got our other piece here, like so, and from here. And our hinge, practically good as new. You can see on this side, doing just fine. So, this baby is ready to be put back together. So, we're gonna get the whole rig over here and get her set up. Okay, well, first things first, we're gonna get our bottom shell here. Which you can tell it's got the HDMI, the video out here, power over here, network. So that's our bottom shell. And that fits this tray here. You can see there's the display out. And we're going to slide this into place, just like so. Nice clean fans. I really like how that turned out. Next, we're going to put the cleaned up fan shroud, which I did put in the dishwasher, and we're going to take the drive out in order to place that in. Put that in like so. Okay, and this should actually help us guide the disk drive in. So there's a little slot right here, makes it fit nice and snug. Got everything, all of our cables plugged in there. Okay, good to go. One piece I didn't wash was the front of the disk drive, but I think that one actually looks pretty good, so we're going to leave it be. Next, since I disconnected this from the upper shell, we're going to put this on first. Make sure that everything lines up how it's supposed to. Like that. I'm not really sure why they decided to attach that to the top shell. Doesn't seem to make too much sense to me, but whatever. It'll work for Microsoft. So next, we're going to push this back into place. Just making sure everything is aligned how it's supposed to. And then we're going to click these, line those up, line these up. Nice little satisfying clicks. And we're going to go to the front, match that, match this, and then those two. Next, we're going to get our eject button, which went somewhere. There we go. And I just realized I should have put that on first. Oh no. Okay, well, let's see if we can put this on without doing the whole clips in the back again. It's a real big pain in the butt. Now that I have my tool though, I gotta say it was not that bad. So if I have to, I have to. But I think I'll be okay without. Yeah, I'm able to separate it just a bit. I'm gonna put the top on and then fit that into place. Then we gotta put the bottom on. It's kind of awkward. So I guess the bottom shell needs to go on last so that eject button can go there. Okay. Next, we're going to fit the hard drive shroud, or not sure what you would call that. We're just going to slide this right into place again. Everything clicks, like so. I flip her over, and if I remember right, the front side is this side here. There we go, like so. So now this should have this little ledge here, which is what the front plate will click into, which we're going to now pop on. Like so. And I'll take it off the mount. We'll look at her a little better light. There we go. She's all cleaned up. I think it turned out pretty darn well. Now we're gonna plug it in, get the hard drive back in here, and give her a test drive, and make sure everything still works. Alright, here we go. And this thing actually turned out pretty darn well. The one thing I am going to do is I think I'm going to take apart the hard drive, so maybe we'll do that here in a second. But I want to clean that up, make sure that it works okay. Uh-oh. Oh no. Well, let me flip her on her side real quick. Well, I had it put back together and then realized that I didn't put the screws in to keep the shell together. And also, what I found was that when I had the system vertical, the tray wouldn't open, which makes me think that the drive belt is bad, and that may have been the problem all along, although I want to say it was doing less before we cracked it open, so I still think that that dime was causing us some issues of its own. So what I'm going to do is I am going to replace the drive belt. Now, I only have belts that are 24 millimeter. I only have 24 millimeter drive belts that are for the original Xbox, but I am going to try those for the Xbox 360. Supposedly, the Xbox 360 uses a 25 millimeter belt right here, and it does look like this thing's a little springy. It's probably oblong, so that could be that thing's pretty misshapen. That may be the cause of our issue. So it's a 1 millimeter. I don't know if that's going to make a difference when it comes to this drive belt. We're going to see. We're going to see if a 24 millimeter Xbox original works just the same as an Xbox 360. So I'm going to pop her in and see how she does. Well, that did do the trick, so that's great. Good to know that the original Xbox, that 1mm, didn't seem to make much of a difference. Worked like a charm. So we're going to get this baby back together now, and I'm going to try not to make the same mistakes that I made the last time around. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this shroud back over and put it on the right way here. Since I disconnected this from the plastic, it actually makes it significantly easier. And the other thing I'm going to do is put the top on first. And the reason is the eject button has to fit over this area here. So it has to go on immediately after the top shell. There we go. Got that in there like that. So the next step, I'm going to flip this over and we got to put all these big old screws back in. So we got one there, we've got one here, here, there, and there. I should be able to use my T8, I believe. Yep, T8 to screw these puppies back in. They're going nice and easy. And I have a feeling that the whole reason this worked is I kind of got lucky moving it back and forth. It probably worked the belt free a bit. It was probably stuck before I opened it up. It wasn't moving back and forth at all. So the issue ultimately was the drive belt, I think. So we're going to pop this back on. This is the bottom shell. Fit it into place like so. Maybe. Oh no. Something in the back here. My lovely shell here for the shielding. Scoot that in. Well, there's one reason not to remove that, I suppose. Having an issue. I don't think you can see it here. Rotate it. So the shielding is bent out a little bit. Probably need to take this whole thing off and bend it back in. I'll try doing that without it though, but essentially this area here is not getting past the shielding. So I'm going to try to come in at it from an angle. There we go. I think. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Gotta give this satisfying click here. Ow. Almost got my finger in there. Whew. And there we go. So then we'll look at the front, which we'll click here, 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 that's already done, and here. So, good to go there. Next pieces we're going to do is the hard drive, which is easy to figure out which way it goes. We've got the hard drive slot right here, which matches up with this. So we simply place that in, press it down, looks nice, and flip it back over here to the bottom. Now this one's a little bit different because this will fit either way, I believe. I haven't tried actually because I didn't want to pry it back open. But what you want is this little area here. Notice it's smooth on the back. We want this on the front because this, well, it's actually discovered this as I was putting it back together. This is how you can open up the front without without breaking your USB door off. So here's our newly reattached USB door, and we'll simply pop this into place like so. There we go. So you can see under here, you can actually press that tab, and that's how you're supposed to take the front off. Not the way that most people do it, which is by pulling through here. All right, I'm gonna go boot this up again and just make sure that that drive tray still works. All right, I'm going to start it by hitting the eject button. Fingers crossed here. Get some focus, come on. All right, beautiful. There we go. So I think we're in business. Now, one thing that I am going to do next is I am going to clean off this hard drive enclosure. So I'm going to show you how we can open that up as well. It's been a long time, so it'll be kind of a discovery. Just wanted to try that with the button on the controller. Open and close. So that's awesome. And we'll shut her down. I don't know what keeps happening with my focus there. Alright, let's crack open the hard drive tray. Okay, so for this one, I think we're just going to need a few Torx drivers, which I'll try a few here. Oh, nope, not that one. I think we're going to go with this is a T6. T6 is what we're going with here. So we're going to crack this open. Now what I see right off the bat is we've got three of those. I don't see any hidden ones. Doesn't mean they're not there. And it's been a long time since I've taken one of these apart. But let's see if this just lifts up or not. I thought so. Right in there. Kind of prying up and out. There we go. So now this piece I can wash. Get all that nastiness out of here. And we'll put that in our little bin to wash. Same with this, the eject button. And you know what? I might as well take this, wash as well. We'll leave our spring. And here's our mechanical hard drive. Same SATA hard drive as pretty much any computer that you would find modern day. And I'm going to use our T8 to take this off. Little dinky screws. Definitely got some Loctite on them. Alright. Take this off. Might as well wash that too. Put that in. And here is our hard drive, which I now believe we can slide out. Disconnect it here. Not entirely sure. Guess that just slides out like that. And there's our Hitachi hard drive. And as for this mechanism, I believe this comes out, but I'm not entirely sure what I have to do that. Sticky. There we go. There's some double-sided sticky tape there. And there's our interface cable. So we'll leave that together. This is pretty darn clean. I definitely don't want to redo the double-sided sticky tape, but now we can take this and wash it as well. Might as well get all of it in the soapy bath. Even though, you know what, this doesn't seem like it really needs washing. Now that I look at it. The top part does, but I think I'm going to put this part back. So, put that like so, make sure I'm lining up everything. There we go. And you know what? I think put the hard drive back in too. We'll slide this SATA adapter in. Maybe. Come on now. Oh. Helps if you put the hard drive in the right way. A little bit of dust. Okay, there we go. Now, I should be able to position this back in place. So it's easier without the hard drive in. Dang it. There we go. Okay. Got that positioned in place. And we're going to go. Those are going to line up with the little stubby screws. So we'll go and wash our hard drive enclosure and come back and put it all together. The big shebang. Okay, time to put this hard drive back together here. See if I remember where all the pieces fit. Need my spring here. Oh, that's bright. Dummy. While a Phillips head screwdriver will partially work on a star bit, I would not advise it. Okay, and this cleaned up, I think, really nicely. Slide this back on. Oh. There we go. Let the record show I voided the warranty. How unfortunate. Probably would have been good to clean that, but I'm not going to worry about it. For how little somebody is going to be seeing it, I don't think it'll cause that much of an issue. There we go. Hard drive's reassembled. It is time to put the whole system back together. Alright, moment of truth. We're going to power it on. Make sure our drive tray opens. Beautiful. And hard drive is in place and connected. Let's see if we can read the storage and just make sure that that tests out okay. Let's see if I remember how to do that. Settings, system, storage. Alright, got a 50 gig hard drive in here with some themes on it. Look at that. Alright, sweet. So I think this baby is ready to rock and roll and play some games again. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.